when I was in university and I was miserable, and all I cared about was not school, was not partying, was not drinking, was not getting fucked up with my friends. All I cared about was getting lean and strong as possible. So I was in the gym all the time. I was not in class. I was. It started off with 3, 4 times a week. Then eventually, I was basically there all the time. Eventually, I went from partying and drinking all the time, all the keggers and the parties in the first year that they were there, to eventually starting to dissociate from friends like that. It happened so naturally. It got to a point where I was basically lonely. I was alone. No one was really there. I had friends, but they were all doing their own thing for the most part. And I was just at peace. I just knew every time I was in the gym, I was at peace. Every time I was working, I was at peace. My peace of mind, the time where I was just the happiest, was when I was in the gym. Don't get me wrong, there were days I came to the gym when I wasn't too happy, but I left normal, grounded, a reset button, factory reset, where I can basically start my day with a lot more emotional clarity, a level head, feeling great about myself, feeling comfortable in my own skin. So I just realized, okay, I gotta do this every single day. Instead of 3 times a week, 4 times a week, I gotta do this every single day. But by doing that, you are who you hang around with. So in university, I was literally, like I said, all those friends that I used to hang out with in first year during Frosh Week, which they were great people. They were great people to hang out with. I had nothing against them, other than the fact that I couldn't drink every week. You gotta remember this. If you drink a glass of wine every day out here in society, that's considered normal. It's not a big deal. But in university, if you drink a glass of wine every single day in university, that's considered an alcoholic. And you'd be like, what's wrong with that person? Like, if you just imagine yourself drinking a glass of wine every single day in university, you think that person's an alcoholic. Like, how are they doing it? That's crazy. So the way people view certain things out here in society or in the corporate world over here is a bit different. So eventually, if you realize you're hanging out with people like that, you got to start to dissociate yourself from them. It's just going to happen naturally because you are who you hang around with, and eventually their habits will start to, and their behaviors will start to, eventually change you. So with one of my clients, which I was speaking to recently, she noticed that herself. And with females, it's hard to feel a lot lonely. She was feeling really, really lonely during her whole transformation process at one point. The pain of being alone. Her mother died, who was unhealthy. So she really felt like no one was really there. And I can relate, but I just realized during those lonely times, it was being around people who were growing with me, which helped me out. So eventually, at first, with those people that were drinking and getting fucked up, I didn't want to do it every week. It's almost impossible. I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's basically no one would, if you're trying to get as lean and as strong as possible, drinking hard or even drinking once a week will make you take about 48 hours to recover. That's almost like a third of your week gone. A third of your week slows you down. And then you do that week after week, it's hard. So in university, I maybe party once a month, to the point eventually I stopped partying for a long time. I remember going into the bus all the time in university, and I see all these guys going to the keggers, going, drinking, getting fucked up. And there was this, you can see a bit of jealousy or just fuck, I wish I wasn't them, but I feel uncomfortable in my own skin. That urge, that impulse, desire to go out was there. And I knew my friends were out partying, and I'm just like, man, I don't. But once I got over, this is the huge important thing. There's huge strength in restraint. So once I realized I restrained myself in that moment where I just felt like the impulse to go out. And once I got to the gym, I did my workout, I went home and fuck no. Thank God. I never went to the gym and did a workout and regretted doing the workout. I prefer going out and getting fucked up. Never. So, by going through the process, by just always sticking to it, eventually, guess what happened? I naturally resonated and found friends who all worked out. That became my crew. I started surrounding myself just naturally, just because we like to hang out with the same people. It's like, you work it, I work out. We talk about it. You resonate with this, I resonate with that. And we get to know each other, and eventually our hanging out is all you can eat sushi. It's different. Once every blue moon you do party with those guys, but we know how to party. We don't self-sabotage and fuck everything up. But there's that lonely phase. I mean, and that lonely feeling, the best thing I told my client to help her get through that was, you want to find anything that puts you in a state of growth. That's why doing something physical every single day in a community of people in the gym that train all the time is extremely powerful. If you feel super lonely, which she did, which was a phase of, I'd say, it was a phase of 3-4 months, she started training twice a day. It helped her out. There were moments where she slowly slipped back to her old, started hanging out with her own friends, started drinking, smoking a little bit more, and it was so painful for her. It was so painful. When she was out of shape, with like 190 pounds, completely out of shape, and she couldn't even do like bodyweight squats. She didn't know how much pain she was in. When you clear all those habits and you start eating healthy and clean, operating in a very positive manner, and then you go back, you realize how the fuck did I live like that? The self-hate, the disgust, it's painful, man. It's just people out here have no idea how painful it is. It almost broke into her tears many times. And then she just eventually said her friends started she's not calling me, they're not hanging out with me. My friends are always negative. They're always have a very bad attitude on life. I can't hang out with them. And that's the thing. That's what happens. So eventually, naturally, you're like, I cannot hang out with these people. I love them, but I'm going to love them at a distance. They can come work out, which she was like that. You can come work out with me, but I'm not going to go take a back step. So eventually, when she started training twice a day, I just told her, this is a phase. When you're in pain plus reflection equals progress. You want to always keep progressing, okay? Avoid any sort of bad habits. You're going through a lonely phase because you went from a certain group of people you hang out with, you're out of the crew of people, you're by yourself, you're going against the norm. Everyone's society trying to pull you down, indirectly or directly, telling you how to live your life. You're being a stickler, you're a gym addict, you should have a drink, it's not a big deal. Eat this, you look fine. All these small little self-talk, just moments, these the reasons why people are stuck. That moment where you're supposed to go to the gym, they say something to pull you back, and they don't even realize that's why they're fucking stuck. They have no fucking idea. And they speak with so much confidence and conviction that it's okay. It's not okay. So once you break the mold and you break through society's limiting beliefs, and they're all fucking stuck down here with this negative, low frequency state. Once you get to that high frequency state and you start resonating with other people, you're winning at that point. So with her at that point, I told her, eventually you want to find other hobbies. So the way I train my clients, I train them to get lean and strong as fast as possible and be athletic such that you can enjoy things outside of the gym. If you like going for a bike ride, so be it. If you like go dancing, so be it. If you like to do martial arts, so be it. If you like to go hiking, so be it. If you like to do gardening, so be it. If you want to play with your kids on the beach and you don't want to hurt yourself, so be it. That's what I'm all about. I don't just train people to get a strong physique. I have a more kinesiology mindset. I like making people move well, athletically. So when you build a long, lean and strong physique and you're able to move well, you want to find hobbies where you're able to move around the city, do things, go out. You don't want to feel lazy, right? Even if you want to go spend a whole day just dining, you want to be able to pick up your own weight and get up off the couch, move, get up, right? So that's what my whole service is about. So when I was coaching her, at the same time, I told her to go on a lot of dates. I didn't tell her to whore herself out, but go on a lot of dates and look for a guy that makes you feel complete. It took some filtering because she eventually found guys that, again, with my coaching service, it happens all the time with a lot of single females. I teach them how to find a good, strong guy with good character traits. I don't tell them who to date. It's none of my business. I don't ask for their personal stories. I just tell them from my perspective. I'm like, do they train every single day? Do they have the habits that you're looking for? Because you start to become like who they are. So initially, she started dating guys who were like her old ex-boyfriends. And it was a bad moment because eventually you start to like pick up the smoking, the drinking, the weird jealousy, all those weird little things. Emotionally, then she started slipping with her workouts a little bit. And I told her, do not give up the one thing that made you. So eventually, but that's the beautiful thing about my service. You're strong enough to cut the guys out quick versus being an emotional ragdoll. So she cut the guys out. It took about 3 tries. Eventually, she found a guy that resonated well. That works out, has good habits. I asked her now, do you feel lonely? She's like, no. She went from like 100, 200 pounds of complete fat. I don't want to be rude, but she was really out of shape. She had no ass, nothing. And now, it's like, she put it like a 5-10 year transformation within a year. It's the craziest thing you ever see. Borderline 6-pack. And I'm proud of her. She's just like, I was 2 completely different people. Her outlook on the world was just so negative before. Now it's positive. She felt so lonely. I felt lonely because I went through that. Then eventually, next thing you know, you're just hanging around with people who are in the same growth state as you are. But like I said, if you're going through that problem where you're going from not working out to working out and trying to build a habit, you're trying to build the right habits. If you start hanging out with people who are, unfortunately, like your old self, you may have to put them aside. Not all my friends work out. One of my friends is morbidly obese. One one's a criminal defense lawyer who bikes a lot. Another one, they all train a little bit, but they're not like me. But I still love them to death, to the point where I'm at least able to associate with them because they don't stop me. So they don't have to, not all my friends are gym junkies, but to some degree they are. But a lot of people that I hang out with right now, I surround myself with as a community, they're gym junkies. They work out all the time. But it's not like all about fitness. It's just, we like growing. We like seeing that state. We do it for the positive mental attitude, for the mental health aspect of things. Those are the real ones. Right? Because we understand we don't want to give ourselves up, look like shit, feel like shit, our bad energy around our kids, our family, low confidence. We understand that. So eventually when you go, if you're especially a single mom, divorced mom, you're going to go through that phase where you feel alone. So this is a perfect opportunity to build yourself up. I've never seen a fit lady not find a husband or just be single for the rest of her life. It just doesn't happen. Eventually you're able to find a good guy who's not going to make you feel lonely. It's just how it is. It's that weird phase. And that's the thing. When you start to feel lonely, that's when the drugs and the alcohol and the boredom start to kick in. That's where you're going to start justifying hanging out with a guy, going on dates with guys that don't really align with who you want to be. That's when you start drinking, going out, partying too much, and you slip. You start giving up the one habits that made you. You're going to realize it's not the body or the physique that you want. It's going through the process and overcoming something that's difficult. That builds a lot of confidence and pride and self-belief and spirit. It gives you a lot of self-belief and uplifts your spirit. Gives you energy throughout the day. Like I said, there's a reason why I wake up super early. I enjoy the loneliness. It's kind of crazy. I became the one thing that people are terrified about. I like the peace and quiet. I like going through my day. I like going through my morning workouts. I like going through my day, peace and quiet, because it gives me time to reflect in my own heart and listen to my soul and what it's speaking. And I know I'm at peace. Okay, people, like I said, I know there's a lot of people struggling either with divorce. They're looking for a good guy. They're looking for someone to hang out with. They feel lonely during this whole process. And for a lot of females, it can be debilitating. But like I said, find a hobby, not just working out. You can do working out. It's huge. You can train twice a day. Because even if you train twice a day, it speeds up and fast track your progress to who you want to become. And worst case scenario, once you start training twice a day and go back to one, you still build that drive and the energy and confidence. It's wired into you. So then you're just a high energy being. Then you can transfer that over to like dancing. Maybe you want to become a teacher, you learn something else. Then you start hovering around other people who are aligned with you. When you're growing throughout the whole day, when you're curious, you're learning, there's no pain. No pain.